Hey guys, what's going on? Bofeity here. Today we're going to be doing a little review of the Australian Forces update for Rising Storm 2 Vietnam. This was officially known as patch 1.05. So this was only an alpha build and the assets presented were roughly half done from what I heard, so take that into consideration. Overall, I would say that everything added in this update was good. None of the maps were pure shit. They were all enjoyable to me, so that's a good thing, and that goes for both sides as well. I consider this to be the first major content added to the game since its release way back when in May 30th of 2017. I don't consider a suppressed variant of one rifle and two pistols counting as a content. Sorry. So getting into the Australian update, one of the funnest things they added was the 3D proximity chat. It was a lot more fun than I could have ever imagined it would be. I just thought it was going to be another voice channel that no one would use, but I was wrong. It made for some fun role playing if you enjoy saying, you know, sick cunt and blasting a didgeridoo or some era music. Did it make a difference gameplay wise? No. I don't recall any situation where I was playing that anyone called out a nade or called out any particular people, any bearing on the compass or anything like that. But hey, there was music, so that's pretty cool. The way it worked is it would emanate from the person. So if they were playing music, you would hear it. You know, as they got closer, it would get louder. So that's how the proximity works. They also added a complete slew of new free character customization. They also kind of implemented the whole store, which you can see, and they new faces, tattoos, uniforms, gear, tunics, helmet, shirt options for both pilot and infantry. And the best part is you don't really have to level up anything. Whatever your rank is carries over. You unlock everything. No worries there. There was no native voices in this build, so there was no Australian voices yet, so that was a little disappointing. Hopefully, God willing, they'll get the boys from the Big Les show to do some voice acting.
Sass mate, how you going?
What's going on, cunt? Did you bring those dupes?
You fucking know what he come.
Les, mate. Hey, Sassy. How you going? Yeah, pretty good yourself? Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. So we keen to pump some fucking tumours or what?
Fucking I've gone. Yeah, I'm pretty fucking socked, eh?
I thought we'll just go on camping.
Yeah, Sass mate, you'll have the fucking drugs, cunt.
Now to the meat and potatoes of the build, right? So there was a total of 5 new weapons added. The L2a1 SLR, 7.62 NATO semi-automatic battle rifle. It was the backbone of the Australian Army's arsenal and can be selected by the Grunt class along with the M16. So the L1 seemed decent. It was, I would say, on par with maybe the Mosin or an M14. Recoil was kind of, yeah, it has some recoil. The sights are an issue, of course. Anytime you implement these peep sight into a game, it's just always going to be fucked. It's just the way it is. It doesn't accurately capture how the human eye works with these sights, so it just ends up being a giant obstruction. So the L2a1 Lmg was a heavy barreled fully automatic variant of the L1a1, which is just like a FAL, used by machine gunners, complete with bipod and fire select for semi-auto quote-unquote precision aiming. The L2 was very bad, I would say. It had an incredible amount of recoil when not deployed, so much so that you couldn't really use it unless you were deployed. You also had the poor sights, so it just really was, there's no reason to choose it over the M60 if you were given the choice. Obviously, they probably won't give you the choice because nobody would use it. You can't run around and Rambo it like you can with the RPD or the DB28 or the M60, so that may be a good thing for some people. For me, I personally like doing that, so it's bad for me, and I probably wouldn't use it. The Owen Submachine Gun, a gravity-assisted 9mm carbine, first brought into service during World War II, still used by troops on the ground in Vietnam. This and the F1 were pretty similar. The F1 9mm submachine gun, similar to the British Sterling, and it has a semi and fully automatic modes with detachable bayonet. The Owen and F1 were both really good. Low recoil, kind of weird sight pictures, but they were tack drivers, very little recoil. The F1 had faster rate of fire than the Owen, so I'd probably use the F1 more times than the Owen. Also, there was the Browning high power pistol, just a semi-automatic 9mm pistol, 13 round magazine. I don't really use pistols that often, but I would venture to say that it's got little to no recoil, so that's a good thing going for it. Next, they added the Huey Bushranger attack helicopter for Australian pilots, complete with FFAR rockets for the pilot, 14 to be exact, and adjustable miniguns for the co-pilot, and dual M60. So the way that works is when you are the co-pilot, and if you're aiming straight ahead, it will use the dual M60s. And as soon as the thing goes to the left or to the right, it'll switch to a minigun, which is interesting. Yeah, a lot of firepower. But the actual rockets didn't, I mean, they're the same thing as the Cobra, but you get only 14 of them. So overall, I'd say the Bushranger is pretty much garbage compared to the Cobra, and it has trouble taking out the tunnels due to limited rockets. As I mentioned before, there's only 14. You have no 20mm cannon, so you really can't take out tunnels with your M60 or your minigun. Minigun is the same as the Loach, so you will tickle people, and the M60s, the dual M60s were pretty cool. They seem to be more effective than the minigun. So, but the real problem with the Bushranger is it is a Huey, so it moves really slow, and it's a big easy target for RPGs and Dishkas, which on Operation Force there are 3 RPG slots and 3 Dishkas on one single point. There's no Cobra on Operation Force either, so. One other thing to mention is the Canberra Bomber. This is an all-new commander ability for the Australian forces, which calls in 2 English electric Canberra bombers to carpet bomb an area along a set path. It uses a new UI feature which you can direct the trajectory at which the bombers will drop their payload. Also works with napalm, so you can, set the direction of which way it goes, basically. But it was pretty bad all around. I think most of the times when I saw it used, didn't really get that many kills, so I'd say it was generally worse than napalm, but possibly better than the AC-47 because it won't get shot down all the time. But luckily you don't have to pick between napalm and Canberra. It's you get both of those, you just don't get the spooky. So moving on to the maps portion, Operation Forest was a large-scale supremacy battle taking place in the swamps and farmland, featuring a longest engagement distances in the game. Yes, this was a huge fucking map, and it was surprisingly decent for a supremacy map. And that game mode is kind of hit or miss. I found it to be an enjoyable experience, and I'm not really a big supremacy guy. The vast open areas, and the ambiance really gave it a good Vietnam feel. 3 Dishkas on A is a bit much when you pair it with 3 RPGs and SAM missiles against just Hueys and a Loach. The balance is there, it seems kind of off. Overall, the map was really good, a lot of fun, so good on them for that. Long Tan, a territory map in which the NLF attack a defensive position set up in a rubber plantation at night in the rain. The rain effect on this map was shit. I'm assuming as a placeholder. Strained my eyes a lot, but I play 144 Hertz and it was kind of annoying. Both teams were basically black. The way the lighting on that map was, everybody looked wet and black, so it was kind of hard to tell. And people with boonies on the Vietnamese team would look kind of like Australians with boonies, so it's just kind of a weird situation going on there. It's kind of like Coochie. It's a very linear progression. I'd say it has a little more flanking ability than Coochie does. Overall, it's a pretty decent map. Didn't really seem like an official map. Honestly, it kind of seemed like it was something that the community made, but it was decent all around, so there's that. Rungsak, a territory map in marshland, culminating in a battle at an old Indochina era fortress. Good ambiance on this map. It really captures a good Vietnam feel. It's got a kind of a mixture of riverbeds and farmland and little villages and forests. So it's a good mix of everything. The progression's not so linear. It's kind of a east to west. You can kind of go any way you want, so it wasn't really forcing you into one direction. So it's kind of cool map. Probably my favorite map of the update for sure. So that's it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed that little preview or first look at the Australian update, make sure to leave a like if you liked this video and drop a comment below. Discord info is in the description if you like to chit chat and share shitty memes. Of course, if you are not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit that sub button. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.